From the window comes an icy draft, and for the first time, I know what it is to feel cold. And there is blood on my hands, all that is left of him. I am alone with only memory for company, and I taste. I taste the salt of tears, so this is life, despair. And memory, it is a wraith flitting cruelly through the shadows of the heart.
And next up we have Errol Lamb. As such, please give him a round of applause. Just so everybody knows, the sign-up sheet is on that table. Just so.
Thank you. Hey, Rich, can you hear me? All right. My first thing is going to be addressing a Tuesday night. President Obama came at the air and told the nation and the world what the plans were for the United States in Afghanistan. And basically he said that 30,000 troops will be going in, and in 18 months they will be out more or less, right? So basically what he's telling us that he's continuing George Bush's war, and he's going to continue to fight a war that we don't really need to in this particular way. That was on Tuesday night. Well, on Wednesday, Secretary of State Clinton, Secretary of Defense Robert Gates, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff leader met with the Senate Armed Forces Committee and said the following, basically. One guy said, well, we might be, it might take us 18 to 24 months if it goes so-so. It also said that the United States ambassador to Afghanistan said that we are really going to have at least 35,000 troops being sent. And so immediately, right, the day after, right, not even a day after, we're already getting this bullshit talk, and it's all contradictory already, all right? So, and today is Thursday, you know, so I don't know what happened today. I didn't really check much, you know. I know it's all Tiger Woods, so everybody is looking at that. A couple of things that have come up, that didn't come up actually, is no one talked yet about how the war is going to be funded, all right? Nobody has talked about that yet, right? That's still a point of discussion, and from what I read, it's one of the following that may happen, but probably none of them. One of them is that they're going to add the money that's needed for the funding to be added to what they call the defense spending bill for the next year of 2010 fiscal. Or there's going to be a war tax, which Senate is not for at this moment. Or thirdly, which the White House said in April that they're not going to fund, it's going to be called an emergency war funding bill. Right. But the point is about all of this is that discussions have not taken place about funding, right? And I'm saying this all because how does it affect our country, which can't get health care, where students can't go to school, you know, but we are still talking the talk of war, you know, and continuing this talk of continued warfare against a nation which is supposedly going to attack this nation sometime in the future. You know, that is the carrot they're holding to us. And as you know, just to summarize for you, what the tactic is that the U.S. forces are going to work with the Afghan security forces so that they can turn over to them the taking care of the country. Well, you know, let's see if that happens, you know. I don't know when and where that will happen, but that's the plan. And in the meanwhile, don't forget that the corrupt government of Karzai, with all the corrupt people who are in the government, are still there. Karzai is saying nothing about how he's going to deal with the corrupt people there. It's not a straightforward case. So for those of you who are freshmen, when you're graduating in 3-4 years, you'll still be hearing this stuff in a different form. You know, as I reminded you all, things don't happen now because college students are not draftable. If you were draftable, you would pay much more attention, believe me, because people like you would not be here possibly today. You probably will be dodging to Canada or going to Mexico or something like that. You know, I don't know. But anyway, in kind of memory of this, I just bring up the name to finalize this first part. The name of Cindy Sheehan, who's a member of Code Pink, which is a collaboration of women and men, but women only, women leadership, who are against the war and who are fighting to protest it and bring the troops home, so to speak. Well, Cindy Sheehan, I think I might have mentioned this before one time, but it's worth mentioning again. They're still continuing the struggle as we speak. But in 2004, in April, her son was killed in Iraq. Her son's name was Casey Sheehan. In 2004, he was killed in Iraq, and George Bush said something funny, you know, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, Cindy Sheehan has picked up the struggle because she has been actively doing this since that time. And a couple days after April 4, 2004, Cindy Sheehan's sister, Casey Austin's sister, her name is Casey, wrote a poem for him, for her, for the family, for all of us. All right? So I will read the poem once again. And just before I forget, is that this movie is coming out soon. It's called Brothers. And it's about two guys who are brothers who come back from Afghanistan and deals with the relationship of what happens to people after they've been to war. And we're going to have a lot of people back in this country when this thing is over. But it's just a start of a movie of what happens to people. It's not about the war so much, but it's how it affects them after they return to the United States. Their behavior, of course, is considered bizarre, but you know, you can understand that. But anyway, here's Carla's poem for the family and for all of us. It's entitled, very short, it's called A Nation Rocked to Sleep. It was written soon after April 4th, 2004. Okay, it's 4 verses that goes like this. Have you ever heard a song of a mother screaming for her son? The torrential rains of a mother's weeping will never be done. They call him a hero. You should be glad that he's won. But have you ever heard the sound of a mother screaming for her son? Verse 2. Have you ever heard of a song of a father holding back his cries? He must be brave because his boy died for another man's lives. The only grief he allows himself are long, deep sighs. Have you ever heard the song of a father holding back his cries? Verse 3. Have you ever heard the song of taps played at your brother's grave? They say that he died so that the flag will continue to wave. But I believe that he died because they had oil to save. Have you ever heard the song of taps played at your brother's grave? And the last verse goes, have you ever heard the song of a nation being rocked to sleep? The leaders want to keep you numb so the pain won't be so deep. But if we the people let them continue, another mother will weep. Have you ever heard of a song of a nation being rocked to sleep? Thank you.